Roger Federer has been trending on the internet ever since he announced his retirement around a month ago, and we totally get it. The guy was an icon who went on to change the world of tennis unlike any other. While everyone's busy being devastated about Federer leaving the sport, we've got some intel that he might still be making moves in tennis. Stay tuned, because in this video, we'll be talking about just that. First up, Federer may be making tennis moves. Rumor has it that Federer isn't ready to bid farewell to the sport just yet. Legendary tennis commentator and former player Sue Barker has been dropping hints that Federer could join the BBC commentary team for next year's Wimbledon Championships. That's right, from John McEnroe to Billie Jean King and Pat Cash, there are many tennis legends who have stayed connected to the sport well after retirement, and we're so excited that Federer could be one of them. Former world number 3 Barker herself is also stepping down as lead presenter this summer. Her retirement comes after 30 years of broadcasting the Slam. We can't help but notice that longevity mirrors that of Roger Federer. Barker's own replacement is unclear, but the list of primary suspects includes Claire Balding, football presenter Gabby Logan, and ex-England cricketer Isha Guha. Barker and Federer actually go way back. In fact, it was Barker who interviewed Federer after he won his first major title at Wimbledon as a 21-year-old. Things would really come full circle if Federer followed her footsteps into the world of commentating and swapped out his racket for a microphone. Next up, when exactly did Barker drop these hints? The 1976 French Open champion has recently been on tour for her new best-selling book called Calling the Shots. In a mesmerizing one-woman show at the Kingston Rose Theater, she had the audience in stitches with her recollections. Things got even more interesting when it came to the questions and answers segment of the show. According to Kingston Nub News, Barker was dropping heavy hints that Federer may join the BBC's commentary team for the 2023 Wimbledon Championship. Now, that's one way to get your audience's attention. The former Question of Sports host was quick to change the topic, though. Soon enough, she moved on to tales about life lessons and surprise parties. We can't be that easily distracted, though. Everyone's been anxiously waiting for a formal announcement regarding this rumor, but unfortunately, we've got nothing yet. As someone who's been with the BBC for over 3 decades, though, we think that any intel Barker provides would be credible, to say the least. Here's hoping. Next, let's look back at Roger Federer's tearful goodbye. Federer recently announced his plans for retirement after teaming up with Rafael Nadal in the doubles during the Laver Cup. Our timelines were flooded with pictures of Federer and Nadal grabbing hands as they cried together during the celebratory tribute. And we're not complaining. While the broadcast focused on Federer during the tributes, crowd members picked up the moment when Federer's wife, Mirka, went over to Nadal and consoled him as he watched the celebration through tears. To say it was wholesome would be an understatement. Federer became emotional in his post-match interview as he dedicated a special thank you to his wife, Mirka, for their journey throughout his tennis career. Mirka also joined Federer on the court, where the pair embraced in a beautiful moment. At Wimbledon, Federer is a record 8-time champion and true icon. Sue Barker isn't one to hold back how much she loves and respects the Swiss player. While referring to the big 3 of tennis, Barker said she felt blessed to watch this incredible era of the sport. She went on to say that although Djokovic may end up with the most Grand Slam titles, and despite the fact that Nadal achieved 14 titles at the French Open, there's just something about Federer that stands out. She said that he just makes the game look so easy, and we agree. No wonder the tennis world has erupted ever since she dropped hints about him staying connected to the sport, hopefully for decades more to come. Next up, Federer has been keeping in the shadows. Ever since his highly publicized retirement, Federer's been doing his best to stay out of the limelight. The Swiss icon was asked to make an appearance at his home tournament in Basel so that the fans could pay tribute to their idol. However, in sad news, Federer announced that he would not be making an appearance. He opened up to his fans and revealed that his farewell had taken an emotional toll on him, and he wasn't ready to get back in the spotlight just yet. While all that may be true, it's very possible that Federer's just trying to make out some peaceful time for himself before he gets back in front of the camera. Since the rumors are about him being a commentator at next year's Wimbledon Championship, we can only hope there's enough time for him to compose himself and take a well-deserved break. Finally, Federer has been open to the idea of commentating. The reason the tennis community is getting so excited about these rumors is that we know this is most likely true. Federer himself confirmed it. Before he retired, retired, Federer confirmed that he wanted to stay connected to the sport and was very open to the prospect of dipping into commentary. Speaking at a roundtable to Swiss reporters, Federer said he had recently realized that he could see himself in the commentary box. According to reporter Simon Graf, Federer noted that, although he had previously written off the world of commentating, he was now open to the idea. The Swiss champion specifically expressed his desire to commentate on some matches at Wimbledon. He still seemed unsure about the idea, though. He elaborated that he had always thought he would get into journalism after retirement, and he couldn't even believe that he was saying he was open to commentary. Speaking to reporters, Federer said that commentary is a great way for a past player to stay linked to the game, as it gives you a purpose to come back to a tournament. He went on to talk about how much he valued past players who had gotten into commentary, giving a special shout-out to Johnny Mack and Mats Wilander. Before we end this video, let's take a look at some other news. According to the stats, Novak Djokovic leads Nadal and Federer in Big Three matchups. First up, Djokovic, leading the Big Three. The trio, known as the Big Three, has dominated the sport of tennis, taking the game to unprecedented levels. The three most decorated players of all time have forged their careers in parallel, sharing over 60 Grand Slam titles between them. According to the stats, Djokovic now has the most wins in the Big Three matchups against his rivals, Federer and Nadal. Djokovic takes the lead with 57 wins, while Nadal follows closely behind with 53. Federer seems to be trailing behind with just 39 wins, a number which is unlikely to increase now that he's announced his retirement. Next up, this sparks debate regarding the GOAT. A recent poll by Eurosport showed who is the greatest among the Big Three in the audience's opinion. The results seem to line up with the stats, as Djokovic won 51% of the total votes. Many are convinced by the numbers, though. The Federer fan club has remained adamant that one must look beyond the numbers. The Federer fan club has remained adamant that one must look beyond the numbers of wins and at a player's overall performance to determine how great they really are. They argue that Federer is the greatest no matter what. Speaking about this, Federer said that we wouldn't ever compare because every player has their own career and a different set of challenges they overcome. Speaking about his rivals, Federer said that they actually made each other better. He faced Nadal, 5 years his junior, 40 times. He met Djokovic, who is 6 years younger, on 50 occasions, and the tally of wins is close. Although an individual player from the Big Three may have been better decorated without such tough competition, the intense rivalry has brought a lot of attention to the sport of tennis itself. Finally, let's look at some expert opinions regarding who the greatest tennis player is. This year, McEnroe opened up to Eurosport about who he believes is the greatest tennis player amongst the Big Three. Giving a very diplomatic answer, McEnroe said he would divide the players according to their skill set. He said Federer is the greatest on the grass, whereas Nadal is the greatest on earth. Djokovic was credited as the most tireless player. Other experts weren't so diplomatic, though. Mike Bryan, the doubles legend, also weighed in on the GOAT debate. Bryan said that Federer takes the spot as the all-time greatest for him, because in the years that he dominated the sport, he only lost a handful of games in the entire season. Bryan compared Federer to a Zen master, commending his ability to keep it chill even under pressure. He then mentioned how he looked up to the Swiss player for his calm and relaxed attitude, recalling an instance where he was laughing and joking in the locker room before the Wimbledon final, as if it were a Sunday afternoon in the park. Bryan might just be a little biased, though, as he ended off by saying that Federer would hold a special place in his heart even if many records are torn from him. And that's a wrap for this video. Who do you think the GOAT is? Do you think Federer will get into commentary? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.